everyone, Linda Israel here, and I thought I would share a tutorial on making a pocket that could be put into a junk journal. So I have a few supplies out here and we'll just get started. What I'm doing is I'm trying to add some unique and unusual things into my junk journals that I'm making, and so I don't also want to spend a whole lot of time on each element, but at the same time I want them to look really cool. So here's one that I came up with. I just tore this page out of an old book, and it's not necessarily an old book, just a book. This one I think was from Dollar Tree, and I just go in here and rip a page out just like that, and then I'm going to use it for the pocket. So what I've done is I just take this and fold it in half. Now that I've done that, I'll take this top piece and fold it down into a diagonal. And now we've made a natural place here that can be a pocket. The next thing I do is just take a little bit of glue stick, not a lot, just want to keep that flap down for the next step, which is to use Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist in my spray box. So I've got this laying in my spray box, and I have a stencil that I made. I went into my Cricut software and found some snowflakes, and I duplicated them and welded them together into one piece, and then I cut it on, of all things, transparency, because it's really thin and the Cricut can cut it quite easily, as you can see. And what I do is just lay this on top of my pocket piece. Then I'm going to take this Tattered Angels and shake it up. This one is simply sheer, and it is called Vintage Blue. So I'll just spray this a few times, giving it the color that I want. And then I have Dazzling Diamonds Tattered Angel. Now this one has mica in it. You can see that it's kind of clumped up there. So you want to make sure that you shake this really well to get that mica up into this non-toxic water-based liquid. And then once I've sprayed it, I just take another piece of paper and put on top. This is my paper that I use for my mop-up box. It is an old letterhead. And I'll just basically soak up any extra glimmer mist that's on that stencil, and then that'll give me a cool design on another piece of paper. Now this piece is ready for the next step, which is to take to my sewing machine. I will wait until this is dry, or I will use my heat tool to dry it. I'm over at my vintage sewing machine. It's 25 years old at least. I have it set up on zigzag stitch on my machine, but you can use a regular stitch, whatever works best for you. And what I've got here is the page that's dry. You want it to be dry because if you start to sew on it while it's wet, it will rip. So you want to wait till it's dry so you can start sewing on it. And I've got blue in the top thread, and I've got a white in the bottom thread. I'm just going to lay the presser foot on here, and then I'm just going to start sewing. I don't have to do a back stitch or anything because I'm not really worried about the stitching coming out. It's not like a garment. So I'm just going to zigzag stitch around the edges. When I get to the corner, I make sure my needle is down. I'll raise up the presser foot and then turn the paper, and then I'll start sewing the other way. I'll just pull the thread a long ways out and trim it off. Alright, well, we'll change the camera view so you can see the next steps. I saw an image of where someone had taken some sheet music and had made it look like tickets. I've also seen where people have taken old tickets like you would get for raffles, and they then covered it with other paper. So I thought, well, I'll make my own. I've got the ticket punch here, and all I will do is just line this up in here and punch. The punch has a guide so you can put it on here and stamp all the way, or punch all the way across just with a few punches. So there is my tickets all punched out and ready to be used. Now, if you don't have a ticket punch, what you can do is take a piece of paper and fold it in an accordion fold back and forth about the shape of a ticket, and then you can punch the corners. So I just have a standard 1/4 inch punch, and I'll just go in here and notch out these corners. I'll make this one the same length. So even though I did not use the ticket punch, it looks a lot like my tickets that I just created. It may not be perfect and you may have to line it up just a little bit to get persistent, but there is your own style of tickets that you can make out of anything. I already have some tickets cut close to the size that I want here. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this excess. I have some Tim Holtz Distressed Ink in Stormy Sky. I'm just going to go around this with the blending tool just to give it a little tint to the sides. I'm going to use my Aleene's Tacky Glue and just give it a little glue on the back side to hold it in place. I'm going to place it across the bottom portion of the pocket here. I used a few different paper punches and punched out a circle and a label, and I also punched out this image from Calico Collage. It's part of the Christmas charm set. I will have the link in the description box, and they are perfectly 1-inch squares that if you use a 1-inch square punch, you can punch them right out, and I've already got one done. I'm going to use the the distressed ink around the edges. I'm going to do the same with this baby blue piece. I've got some glue stick here. I'm going to use it on the back side of these images and pieces to layer them all up. I'm going to stack them one right on top of the other. I have some eyelash yarn here. I'm just going to trim a little piece of that. I think it's kind of cool fiber look. I'm going to lay this on my pocket right about where I want it, and then I'm going to take this piece and apply a generous amount of Aleene's Tacky Glue. And doing it this way, it'll trap that fiber, and then that way it will be in place where I want it. Now before I get this glued all the way down, I have a little ticket punch or banner punch. You could go this way or this way. And I punched it out of some really pretty silver paper. And we'll put that right here. And then I've got a little bitty iridescent snowflake. I got a whole package of these years and years and years ago, back when MySpace was really popular. And it was someone that had a shop on Etsy, and I went and bought a few of those. The last thing that I want to do, I've got two more things I want to do. I've got a little piece of bling here. These are self-adhesive and they come in a strip, so I'm just cutting that apart. And I'm going to place that right in the center. Now, when I folded this piece of paper, the title of the page was right here. So I've got some washi tape, and I am just going to take a piece of this and line it up over the top of that title. Not really worrying that it's not perfect. Now to go in this, I have a piece of canvas from Canvas Corp Brands that I did a zigzag stitch around an index card. I used the same technique of spraying with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and then of course I added a little bit of ribbon, and then here is a tag for the pocket. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of how I made this pocket and showing you a new way to use those little charm images from Calico Collage. If you have any questions, please use that comment box down below. If you would like to just give me some words of encouragement, please do that as well. I love reading messages from each of you. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up. Did I say that already? Please give this video a thumbs up. And of course, share it with your friends so that others can find it. Check out my Facebook groups by looking at the link description box, because there's lots of friendly people that are willing to hang out with you. If you have any questions, again, just let me know. Everyone, have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching. Bye.